Have you ever seen a child ask one simple question that changed several lives forever? Sometimes the smallest voice carries the greatest truth. This is the story of a billionaire mother who believed she could solve every problem with money, until her little daughter looked at a lonely single father and asked a question that left everyone speechless. What happened next wasn't about wealth, power, or success. It was about kindness, courage, and the healing that happens when strangers choose to care for one another. Stay with us until the very end, because this story might just remind you that the greatest gift we can ever give is our heart. Before we begin, welcome to the Kindness Hub. If stories of hope, compassion, and second chances inspire you, please subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from and what kindness means to you. Your support helps us share more uplifting stories with people all around the world. Emily Carter was one of the richest women in America. She had built a billion-dollar technology company from the ground up and appeared on magazine covers as one of the country's most successful business leaders. People admired her confidence and determination, but very few knew how lonely she really was. After losing her husband in a tragic accident 5 years earlier, Emily devoted every moment of her life to work and raising her 7-year-old daughter, Lily. Lily had stopped speaking after the accident. Doctors called it selective mutism caused by trauma. She communicated with smiles, nods, and handwritten notes, but her voice had disappeared. Emily spent millions searching for the best specialists, therapists, and treatments. Nothing seemed to bring her daughter's voice back. One rainy afternoon, Emily's car broke down outside a small neighborhood grocery store. Her driver had stepped away to get help, leaving Emily and Lily waiting under the store's awning. At that same moment, a man carrying 2 grocery bags noticed them standing in the rain. He walked over quietly and held out his umbrella. "You'll both stay dry under this," he said with a warm smile. Emily politely declined. "We're fine. Thank you." But the man gently placed the umbrella in Lily's hands anyway. Kids shouldn't have to stand in the rain. His name was Jack Morgan, a widowed single father and former Navy SEAL. After leaving the military, he worked as a maintenance supervisor while raising his 8-year-old son, Ethan. Life had not been easy for Jack. His wife had passed away after battling cancer, leaving him to raise Ethan alone. Despite his own struggles, Jack never stopped helping others. He volunteered at shelters, fixed broken playground equipment for free, and quietly paid for groceries whenever he saw someone struggling. Lily looked at Jack with curious eyes. For reasons nobody could explain, she smiled wider than Emily had seen in years. Days later, Emily ran into Jack again at a local community park where Ethan and Lily were feeding ducks. Jack spoke naturally to Lily, never treating her differently because she didn't speak. Instead of asking why she was silent, he simply included her. He showed her how to toss breadcrumbs gently into the water. He laughed with Ethan. For the first time in years, Lily looked genuinely happy. Emily found herself smiling too. Over the following weeks, the two families crossed paths again and again. Sometimes it felt like coincidence. Other times it almost felt like fate. Jack never cared that Emily was famous or wealthy. He treated her exactly like everyone else. When Emily offered to donate money to improve the neighborhood playground, Jack suggested something different. "Come help paint it with the volunteers." Kids remember people who show up more than people who write checks. Those words stayed with Emily. That Saturday, instead of attending another business event, Emily picked up a paintbrush. Parents and children worked together. Neighbors laughed. Strangers became friends. Emily realized she hadn't felt this peaceful in years. Little by little, she started changing. She spent less time chasing meetings and more time making memories with Lily. One evening, the 4 of them shared homemade pizza at Jack's small house. It wasn't fancy. The furniture was old. The kitchen was tiny. But it was filled with laughter. As Ethan and Lily colored pictures together at the table, something incredible happened. Lily slowly looked up at Jack. Her lips trembled. Then, after 5 long years of silence, she whispered, "Thank you." The room froze. Emily's eyes instantly filled with tears. Jack smiled softly as if nothing extraordinary had happened. "You're very welcome, sweetheart." The therapists had tried everything. Expensive clinics had failed. Yet kindness had opened the door that money never could. Months passed. Lily began speaking more each week. Not many words at first. Just little conversations. Simple questions. Tiny laughs. Each word felt like a miracle. Emily grew closer to Jack, not because he rescued her, but because he reminded her what truly mattered. One afternoon, during a charity picnic, dozens of families gathered in the park. Children ran across the grass. Music played in the background. Volunteers served food. Emily and Jack sat together watching their children laugh. Suddenly Lily stood up. She looked at her mother. Then at Jack. With complete innocence, she asked in a clear voice that everyone nearby could hear. "Jack, will you marry my mom?" The entire park became silent. Emily's face turned bright red. Jack nearly dropped the cup he was holding. Even the children stopped playing for a moment. Lily continued. "You make mommy smile again, and Ethan needs a mommy too." Emily couldn't stop crying. Jack looked at Lily with tears in his own eyes. Then he gently knelt beside her. "That's the sweetest question anyone has ever asked me." He looked at Emily. She smiled through her tears. Neither of them had expected this moment. Months later, surrounded by friends, neighbors, veterans, volunteers, and children from the community, Jack asked Emily the same question. This time, he held a simple ring. Nothing extravagant. Just a symbol of love, respect, and hope. Emily happily said yes. At their wedding, Lily and Ethan walked hand in hand down the aisle. The ceremony wasn't held inside a luxury ballroom. Instead, it took place in the same community park where everything had begun. The playground they had painted together stood nearby, filled with laughing children. Emily later created a foundation, not simply to donate money, but to encourage people to volunteer their time. She often told audiences, money can build buildings, but kindness builds people. Jack continued serving his community with quiet humility. Lily never lost her voice again. She grew into a confident young woman who inspired others facing trauma. Whenever people asked Emily what changed her life, she never mentioned her business success. She smiled and answered, "A little girl reminded me that love is worth more than anything money can buy." Kindness doesn't always arrive with grand speeches or expensive gifts. Sometimes it begins with a shared umbrella, a warm smile, a helping hand, or one brave question from a child. Every act of kindness has the power to heal hearts, restore hope, and create families where none existed before. If this story touched your heart, remember that someone around you may be waiting for a simple act of compassion today. Be the reason someone smiles. Be the reason someone believes in people again. Thank you for spending this time with us here on the Kindness Hub. Until next time, keep choosing kindness, because even the smallest act of love can change a life forever.